Dear Faithful, welcome to this new video. The third secret of Fatima has gained more attention than it ever has in the past, rekindling long-simmering fears and grave concerns for humanity's future. Until very recently, a number of recognized visionaries, like Mirjana and Ivan from Medjugorje and Luz de Maria in Costa Rica, have reported receiving communications from the Madonna, Jesus, and the Archangel Saint Michael. It's discussed everywhere, thought about with reasonable skepticism and optimism, and we look forward to better results for our future. However, none of them are cloaked in the same unsettling mystery that has encircled Sister Lucia for all of her life. As we all know, Lucia saw as a young shepherd, together with the other two shepherds, Francisco and Jacinta, the supernatural visions at Fatima, a little village in central Portugal that rocked the faithful community and in fact the entire globe. Even in a mixture of trust and sincere Christian optimism, those three small shepherds' amazing stories of the Blessed Virgin's apparition and the horrifying sights they saw, such as the one of hell with its damned, deeply affected humanity and eventually caused us to doubt and question. Over time, Lucia, the only one of the three shepherds to survive to a late age, has been primarily linked to the disturbing topic surrounding the so-called third secret of Fatima. Francisco and Jacinta died from the horrible Spanish flu at a very young age. It is, in fact, the third installment of a divine message that has been specially divided into parts to be released when the appropriate moment comes. Events throughout time have validated the veracity of divine instructions, one of which we specifically recall here about the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II. Lucia's unwillingness to reveal what was told to her at the time is what most horrifies and feeds dark fears. She was forced to write down her visions under seal after being pressed constantly to do so. Why was Lucia afraid to share her visions? What about our future may be so shocking? The numerous revelations throughout the years, whether in bits and pieces or immediately after the anticipated events, have a significant role in rekindling the mystery, skepticism, and confusion. Millions of people all across the world have been captivated by the enigmatic third secret of Fatima. However, Pope Francis has now intervened to reveal the long-awaited truth behind this obscure prophecy in a remarkable revelation. What precisely must the Pope divulge? What deep truths lie behind the Church's decision to keep the third secret of Fatima a secret for so long? More significantly, are there any lessons or cautions for humanity's future that could be learned from the disclosures found in the third secret? Make sure to stick around until the very end as we explore the depths of one of history's most enigmatic mysteries and reveal the long-hidden truths. For this reason, one of the most fascinating prophecies associated with the Catholic Church is the third prophecy of Fatima. The contents of the third prophecy have been the subject of conjecture for many years, provoking discussion and interest among both believers and skeptics. Pope John Paul II finally made the contents of the secret public in 2000. Though there were reasonable and justified skepticisms as to whether the full secret had been revealed, the Vatican insisted that the revelation was authentic, at least for that portion. What then do these secrets actually mean? They deal with deep matters such as hell, the turbulent events of World War I, and the persecutions of Christians in the 20th century. Examining the larger picture of Marian apparitions, it's interesting to note that the Catholic Church has officially approved only a small portion of the hundreds of cases it looked at. Remarkably, 9 of the 12 authorized incidents happened between 1830 and 1933. The small number of acknowledged occurrences invites reflection on their importance. Victor and Edith Turner, cultural anthropologists who converted to Catholicism in 1958, saw the rise of Marian apparition cults as a response from the lower middle class, which was marginalized and experiencing fast changes in its post-industrial culture. As previously stated, Lucia only decided to write down the secret in October 1943 at the local bishop's request, and she sealed it in an envelope with explicit instructions not to uncover it until 1960. The angel, pointing towards the earth with his right hand, cried out 3 times, "Penance, penance, penance." This was an appeal for spiritual enlightenment and repentance. Then Lucia described a vision in which men, women, and bishops climbed a steep mountain, leading to a gigantic cross composed of roughly hewn logs that resembled cork oaks. However, the vision took an unexpected turn before arriving at the holy peak. The Holy Father, standing in for the Pope, traveled through a destroyed city that was quivering with horror. Pain and anguish accompanied his trek as he prayed for the spirits of the dead who were strewn all over the place. He knelt before the enormous cross as he arrived at the top of the mountain. But then a swarm of troops attacked him, launching a barrage of guns and arrows, unexpectedly breaking the somber moment. The Pope sadly perished as a martyr, signifying a great sacrifice for his beliefs. The necessity of spiritual regeneration and conversion is emphasized by the summons to penance. The Pope's martyrdom is portrayed in a way that highlights the idea of giving up something for something better, a timeless lesson that is deeply ingrained in Christian tradition. In addition, the depiction of universal persecution and suffering alludes to the never-ending conflict between light and dark, good and evil. It pushes Christians to maintain their faith in the face of hardship and persecution. The angels collecting the martyr's blood, however, provide a ray of hope and salvation among these glooms. Their deed represents the victory of faith over misfortune and the sanctifying force of suffering. Sister Lucia communicated her understanding of the third secret to Pope John Paul II in a letter written in May 1982, which was almost 40 years later. She disclosed that it contained a symbolic warning. If the world disregarded the demands outlined in the secret, Russia's mistakes would proliferate and result in conflicts, persecution of the Church, and pain for the Holy Father. But if these demands were met, Russia would yield, and harmony would win out. In that enormous vision, the Madonna pleaded with Russia to turn to her Immaculate Heart in order to save humanity from terrible evil. The third secret of Fatima has at last been revealed, following years of eager anticipation. Pope John Paul II's decision to reveal this information to the world, according to the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith, signifies the end of a stormy period characterized by human greed and depravity for power and evil. However, it also marks a time of God's compassionate love and the Church's and Jesus' mother's watchful care. The narrative of Fatima emphasizes two major factors that have shaped human history: the deeds of God who rules over history, and humanity's shared responsibility for determining its own fate by the exercise of creative freedom. Our Lady calls attention to these overlooked ideals and serves as a reminder that God is ultimately responsible for determining humanity's future. She honored Fatima with her apparitions. She emphasizes that we are accountable and involved collaborators in building our shared future, not just watchful spectators. Held until 1960, the third secret was a turning point in the Church's history. Entrusted with the secret, Sister Lucia had to deal with despite opposition to its disclosure. It was made sure to be stored in the Holy Office's top-secret archives. Conspiracy theories and questions regarding the legitimacy of the public reveal in 2000 were sparked by the debate surrounding it. But Sister Lucia attested to the disclosure of all information, and the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith attested to the genuineness of the revealed text. Dispelling ideas of secret revelations, Sister Lucia made sure that the words and teachings of Mary were communicated to the world at the appropriate moment before her passing in 2005. The world, including Russia, was dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary in accordance with the Blessed Mother's wishes. This settled much of the debate surrounding the third secret and gave the historic revelations of Fatima context and meaning. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on new releases and to support us completely free of charge. Good journey of faith.